Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management Gurugram. Myself Satinder Vats, Assistant Professor in ETC department. In today's presentation we will see about the instruction formats and instruction cycle which are used in computer organization, which is a part of unit 4th of LOC 2 in BCA second semester. So it is one of the very important topics in the whole computer organization, which help you to understand what actually happens. uh, we have already seen about the memory structures, that is registers, cache memory and all that, but how they would be used in computer organization. So it is a very important topic. So we have instruction code. So an instruction code is a group of bits that instruct the computer to perform a specific task. It is usually divided into parts, each having its own particular interpretation. So any instruction would consist of it would be having three main parts, that is addressing mode, then we would be having the opcode and the operand. So any instruction would be having three main parts, that is addressing mode, opcode and operand. So opcode means what operation we are performing on our data, or the operand, and operand denotes the data or the value of data which we are operating on. So opcode will denote the operation. It can be any operation, arithmetic operation, logical operation, or any shifting operation, whereas operand will be our data on which the operation need to be performed, and it can be in various addressing modes that we will see later. So the operation code of an instruction is a group of bits that define an operation, like add. Operation code, that is opcode, can be anything like addition, subtraction, multiply, shift, complement, etc. So these are some of the operations which will our opcode defines. The operation code or opcode must contain at least n bits for a given 2 raised to power n distinct. So in opcode, if the second part of an instruction code specifies an operand, it is called a immediate operand. If let's for example we are having we are taking only two parts, that is opcode and operand. So if the second part of the instruction code specifies an operand, that is this one, then it is called a immediate operand. When the second part specifies the address of that operand, so we would be having certain registers in our CPU, that is instruction registers or accumulator or general purpose registers, GPRs, or various registers are there which we have already seen in the last lecture. So our operand can be in these registers as well, okay, or it can be in the memory location, our main memory. So if this operand denotes the address of our this operand denotes, that is the second part of instruction, denotes the address of our data. If our data is stored here and this second part is denoting the address of this information, then it is called the direct addressing mode or direct address. Whereas if the second part designates the address of a memory word, that is if I am having, this is the memory, if the second part denotes the memory location of some other location, okay, it will give me the address of some other location, then it will be the indirect address mode. So there can be different addressing modes depending upon where we are fetching our data from. If we are getting the direct data into the operand, then it would be the immediate operand. If we are getting the address of the data, then it will be direct address. It can be the address of register or in the memory. Or if the operands designates some other address, it is sending us to some other address in the memory to fetch the data, then it will be the indirect address. So then we have instruction set. And instruction set or instruction set architecture is the part of a computer architecture that relates to programming, including the native data types, instructions, registers, addressing modes, memory architecture, interrupt and exceptional handling, and external input output device. So basically what we are doing, this is, if this is our CPU, which consists of ALU and control unit CU, then we will be having the memory and input output devices. So what is going on in here is that the transfer of or the communication is going in between the CPU, then the memory, and then memory to input output devices, and similarly vice versa. So these instruction set would define how the communication is taking place, or where we are fetching our data, and what kind of operation we are performing on our data. An instruction set architecture includes a specification of set of opcodes. It will consist of different opcodes, that is the machine language, because our computer uses the machine language. It will not understand the alphabets A, B, C, or the numbers 1, 2, 3. It will work in machine code. So like if we have a code in C language, it will be converted into machine language first, so that our computer can understand this. Okay, then we have the instruction cycle, which is nothing but the it consists of some operations, that is the fetching of data. First of all, we would fetch the data from some memory address where our data is stored. Then this will come to the registers, that is if I have an instruction register, then this instruction will come to the instruction register where it will be decoded, and then this instruction would be executed. So an instruction cycle, that is fetch, decode, execute cycle, is the basic operation cycle of any computer organization. So it is the process by which a computer retrieves a program instruction from its memory. So first of all, the instruction in or the program will be fetched from the memory. Then it determines what actions the instruction requires and carries out those actions. The cycle is repeated continuously by the CPU from the boot up, that is when we start our computer, till the shutdown. So these cycles keeps on implementing again and again. So first is fetching the information. In the instruction cycle, first of all we will fetch the instruction or the data. The next instruction is fetched from the memory address that is currently stored in the program counter. Program counter is a register which stores the address of the next instruction to be fetched, and then it stored it in the instruction register. At the end of the fetch operation, the PC, that is the personal computer, points to the program counter, which is a register. PC program counter points to the next instruction to be read in the next cycle. So it will then directs us to the next instruction. Then the instruction will be decoded in the instruction register, and after that next operation is the read the effective address. If the instruction has an indirect address, that is, if instruction consists of an address to some memory location in the memory, the effective address is read from main memory, and any required data is fetched from the main memory to be processed and then placed into the data registers. If the instructions is direct, nothing is done at this clock pulse. If we are getting the instruction directly in the operand, then no such operation will take place. Then in the last, the execution of the instruction, the control unit of the CPU passes the decoded information as a sequence of control signal to the relevant function unit of the CPU to perform the actions required by the instruction. The result generated will then be stored in the memory, or it will be displayed on the output device. So what we are doing, let's say if I am having a C program that is int a is equal to 10 and int b is equal to 20, int c and c I am taking the values a plus b is equal to, and then I will print this function c. So if this is a basic program in C to add two integers which are assigned value 10 and 20, a is assigned 10, b is assigned 20, and then if I add them, so this operation which we are written in this program which we have written in C language will be converted into the machine language. Okay, so it consists of this data, that is 10, 20, and the operation is performed on this data, that is, this is the operation, that is addition, logical arithmetic operation, c is equal to a plus b. So how it will be stored in the memory, and how the data will be fetching from the memory, and how the result will be displayed. So this instruction format will consist of the opcode, that is the operation we are performing, and the operands, that is the data, and where this data is to be fetched from, it will be decided by the addressing mode. So these programs would be converted into the machine language. So this data will be stored somewhere in the register or the main memory. Okay, then these results will be displayed. So how this all will happen, let's see. So in the machine language, the format of instruction is usually depicted in a rectangular box symbolizing the bits of the instructions. So every instruction format will consist of several bits, and the length of these bits or the number of bits will depend on the operation we are performing and the operand, that is from where the data is to be fetched. If we are fetching the data from a register, if we are fetching our data from register, then less number of bits will be required in the instruction set. Or if we are fetching the data from the main memory, as the memory is a very huge space, so to denote any memory location, we will require large number of bits. So if we are fetching our data from the main memory, then large number of bits would be required in the instruction format. So the format of instruction is usually depicted in a rectangular box symbolizing the bits of the instructions. The bits of the instructions are divided into groups called fields. So there will be fields like operation code field, that is opcode field, that specify the operation to be performed. So there can be different type of operations, that is arithmetic operations like add, subtract, multiplication, division, and so on. Or we can have the shifting operations like move, okay, and push, pull, and so many operations are there in shifting operation, load. So there are many shifting operations. Or we can have the logical operations. So an address, the operation code field that specify the operation to be performed. Then we have an address field that designates a memory address. Then we will be having the opcode and the operand, which will designate the memory address, and a mode that specify how the operand and the effective address is determined, and the addressing mode will define how the data will be fetched, if it is stored in the register or it is stored in main memory, and how it will be fetched. So this will depend on the addressing mode. So most computers fall into three types of CPU organizations, that is single accumulator organization. So accumulator is a register, single accumulator, or general register organization. So we can use several registers for our instruction format. Or the stack organization, in will be the data will be stored in the form of stack, and we will fetch that using the push and pull operations. So first is 3 address instruction. This is the instruction format, that is 3 address instruction. So in this, computer uses each address field to specify either a processor register or a memory operand. So if we have a program in the machine language, that is x is equal to a plus b multiply by c plus d. So if we have a 3 address instruction and I am performing arithmetic operation add, which is written as add r1 comma a comma b. So in this, the register 1 would be having the values of variable a plus mb. So a and b represent the variables to denote the memory. So memory m of a plus m of b will be stored in r1, that is register 1. We are initializing the register r1 with the addition of a and b variables. Similarly, the register R2 is initialized by the addition of C and D, as we can see, and then the multiply. So we are using 3 addresses in every instruction. So that is why it is called 3 address instruction. Then this result, that is R2 is having MC plus MD, R1 is having M of A plus M of B. Then this result R1, that is the values in register R1 and R2, will be multiplied and will be moved to memory location X. So it has 2 process registers R1 and R2. The symbol MA denotes the operand at memory address symbolized by A. So this is the operand M of A, meaning operand at memory address symbolized by A. So the length of this address M of A, that is this address, will depend on our memory size. So its advantage is that it results in short programs when evaluating arithmetic expression. The disadvantage is that the more number of bits are required. Then we have 2 address instructions, in which the computer uses each address field to specify either a process register or a memory operand. So in this we will use one register and one memory operand. So first of all, in move R1A, that is a shifting operation, we are initializing R1, that is in register R1 we are shifting the operand of memory A. Similarly, now if I am now A is stored in R1, now I am adding B to this R1. Now I am adding R1 plus M of B. So I am adding B to this register R1. Then I am initializing register R2 with a memory represented by C. Then D is added to this register R2 in the next instruction, and then I am multiply the content of registers R1 and R2, and then I will move the content to the location X, that is M of X. Okay, so this is a two instruction format. In one instruction format, one address instruction, the computers used an implied accumulator. So in one address, because for binary operations I will always require to have two bits or two operands. So in one address where I will get the first I will be having only one address location or the one data to be processed. So one would come from the accumulator. I will initialize a accumulator. In this, computer uses an implied accumulator register for all data manipulation. For multiplication, division, there is a need of second register or a temporary location. So as you can see in this is the equation, this is the shifting operation load A, that is I am initializing my accumulator. If nothing is given here, I am only having one address, so the accumulator is there which will be initialized using the content of memory location A. Similarly, then the accumulator will then be added with the memory content of memory location B. Then this will store this information in a temporary register T, store T. So whatever is there in the accumulator will be stored in the memory location, temporary memory location T. Then again we will load C into the memory location, then will add D to it. Now in accumulator we have AC plus memory location, that is MC plus MD, and in the primary memory I have, that is T, I am having MA plus MB. So now I will multiply the both content and put them into the accumulator, and then the final result will be stored in the memory location X. So this is a format of one address instruction. And in zero address instruction we will use the stacking operations push and pull. So this is for the push and pull, that is zero address instruction. In this the data will be fetched from the top of the stack. Okay, and these operation will be performed. So in this presentation we saw some of the instruction formats and about the instruction cycle. Thank you very much.